All right,
It's in.
it's in. Like bolted in, like it actually belongs in there now. It's not just sitting there. All right, welcome back to Car Cane Rehab. It's Rob.
Yeah.
Last episode, we got a bit done. Most importantly, we got the engine into the engine bay. This episode, we need to create the mounts so that that's actually in there permanently. And then we got a few other things to do. So I busted out the trusty notebook, which you guys probably missed from the Audi days. We dry fitted the trans. We built the trans mount. We mounted the adapter. We deleted the factory mounts. We dry fitted the R2.8. And we're doing this right now. And then we got to reinstall that. I think this stuff showed up. And then we got a bunch of other stuff to do. But let's get that done first and then try to get as much of that done. And somewhere down here it says start engine. This is a really weird height size for us. Let's do that again just in case.
It's the hardest thing to film because you're 8 feet tall and I'm 4 feet tall. It's like, it's hard with Hurt, but it's even more hard with you.
There you go. This is the new camera angle for the whole time. There we go.
Go ahead and angle.
That's
That's
it.
the only way.
All right, here we go. Welcome to montage land. All right, so we spent some time mocking these up, and as you can see, they are in place on both sides.
And what? It only took us 4 hours, right?
Something like that.
That's actually
Which actually is not that bad considering that we had to work around the engine being in here and just getting everything sized up. Now we pull the motor out, weld those in, and keep ticking along. Do you have any idea of how bad my welds are? Rob didn't trust me to do them, so he made me stick them in the engine bay to get these done.
I came in from the bottom up. It's ridiculous.
He didn't want to see any boogers on here after all this hard work.
Gotta make it look nice.
And like that, they're done. Rob really is like just such an amazing person. It's kind of wild to watch what he can do despite the fact that his legs don't work the way he'd like them to. He's still better than almost all of us at making stuff cool. Those are done. Throw a coat of paint on them. Ready to put the motor back in for real this time, like for good. So SEMA has come and gone, and unfortunately this thing hasn't made its way into this thing yet. Without a bunch of excuses, I ran out of time and I just didn't really want to rush it. I've rushed a lot of projects before, one of them being this. And when you rush a project, you spend a lot of time chasing things you should have taken the time to do. So we're gonna slow down a little bit on this build. I'm gonna go through and really do everything the way I wanna do it now instead of trying to just get it done for SEMA, which is this weird trap we all fall into every year where we build SEMA cars that don't get finished, and I didn't wanna be that person. So we're back to work. Last we left off, which you guys just saw, was building those motor mounts, which will look rad. And I just need to get this thing in place. But unfortunately, I am by myself tonight. It's kind of hard to get this in with one person. I definitely need 2 people to align from underneath and above. Instead, I'm just gonna tackle some other stuff. But first, I'm gonna open some new parts I got, because opening parts is rad. Let's jump into that right now. All right, so let's start with this. I found this at Rover's North. They sell a bunch of like OEM and aftermarket parts for Landies, and this is the right-hand drive steering box. As I explained earlier, I'm gonna have to take this and mount it on this side of the frame rail. I have to cut out some of this to clear everything that's needed to get the engine in there. Some of you asked why not just move the oil cooler. It's because it's actually integral into the block and the water jacket and everything. not gonna take that off. The guys over at Heritage Driven, which are the guys who built another version of a D1 with an auto trans with an R2.8 in it. And they built a couple other things like that really rad Volvo that you guys saw on the 1 hour special. What? Volvo with a R2.8 diesel? Damn, I put my motor in the wrong car. They've done it that way, so I know it works. And on top of that, I got some bits from some ARB. We got a front and rear air lockers. And basically what these are is locking differentials that lock with a little bit of air. So what you do is, this is a compressor. I'll install the compressor probably either somewhere under the hood or maybe under the vehicle and build a little box for it. These are additional lines and stuff like that. But basically this compressor pneumatically will turn the diffs on and off, so I can either run open diffs for just regular driving or lock them for crawling. Those parts are not going in right now. Gonna get the engine in first. These will go in once I get the vehicle back up on the lift. It'll just be a lot easier to set them in and backlash them and do all that good stuff. So I'm gonna keep prepping this, throw out bearing here, take care of a few other little items like that, and get it ready to hang. And once someone's here to help me, get it bolted up. That's gonna be a good feeling, because at that point, the engine's not coming back out of the car. At that point, I can start bolting everything else together and take care of a few things. Well, I'm not rushing anymore. I'm gonna get in here and clean up a few other things and maybe even paint a few other things, just so it looks cleaner in there before I drop the motor in, because might as well. So let's talk about what we're gonna try to do today and the rest of the things we gotta do. So back to the handy book. We fabbed the axis motor mounts and we're installing the clutch right now. So these are the things, this is where we're at the moment. The D2 cable shift for the transfer case, that's actually something a few of you asked about. You said, how am I going to shift the transfer case? Well, I actually got this. Another thing the boys over at Axis hooked me up with, they don't actually sell it, but they had a spare one. This one's a little, seen better days. It's a little rusty and grimy, so I'm gonna clean that up. But that cable shift style will replace the mechanical linkage I had previously, so I can actually shift from four-wheel drive low, four-wheel drive high, stuff like that, and lock my center diffs. Fit clutch, all this stuff we'll get to. So right now, I think the main thing we wanna focus on today is pretty much mounting the engine. We wanna get to kind of this point. Okay, now that we got flywheel properly torqued to the adapter and the pressure plate properly torqued to the flywheel and the clutch in place, it's time to once again put this on this, the transfer back to this, put it in here, hopefully for the last time. Well, in the foreseeable future last time. Get back here, Zach. I think that's the first time Zach's ever worked on four wheels.
Not totally true. I've had cars before.
Thanks for coming in. I don't think we could have gotten that. It's definitely a three-man job.
Sunday crew.
Yeah.
What's up?
Sorry I lost the bolts, guys. But it's officially in. Now we just gotta finish bolting it up once we find them bolts. See that look?
Bolts last. It's in.
Like bolted in, like it actually belongs in there now. It's not just sitting there. So now it's time to do everything else.
Looks so good.
I know, right?
How much room there is in here now.
So much room. But we gotta do a radiator, fans,
Still more room than
an
before.
intercooler somewhere up in there. Gotta pipe that. Gotta mount the oil cooler somewhere. Gotta add air conditioning, which I actually think goes on top of the other mount. Clean up everything else, mount the ECU, just a few more things. I mean, it's pretty close to running. I mean, it's in there. At least it looks good now. All right, on to the next thing. More parts. It's always a good day. So what we got here? This is kind of the key crucial piece that's left over. So while we were at SEMA, we met the guys at Heritage Driven and we're asking them how to properly set up our track bar and everything. And they're like, oh, we made something to do exactly that. This is that piece, which essentially goes in over here. We'll mount our steering box to this, kind of goes underneath here and grabs the track bar. Yeah, well, it's nice that they already did all the math for us.
That's the nice part.
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna have to figure this out on my own and now I don't have to anymore. So thanks to the guys at Heritage Driven. I don't actually think they sell parts. They actually are the guys you go to if you want one of these built and you don't want to do any of the work. They do turnkey versions, which would have been a little easier. And then we got our Max Tracks. If you guys don't know what this is, they're kind of rad because they look really cool mounted to your roof rack. And
Key for
when you
getting
get
out
stuck.
of mud.
We actually had I hate to admit it, we had a knockoff brand beforehand and they were crap. They flexed really bad. You couldn't use them for bridging. So if you have like a hole, you'd want to put them like over a hole so you could drive, you know, you could stack them together and stuff. But they're also good for like getting out of sand and things like that. So we got ourselves a set of those. And one of the things I'm most excited about is the guys from Voyager. You might remember they were building us a custom rack. Well, here it is. So we get to look at it for the first time. And I will admit, I understand putting our roof rack on now is like putting a body kit on a car that doesn't run.
But it's
Like
so
that,
exciting.
or that. It's kind of fun. So we're gonna do that because right now we're waiting for a few parts to finish everything else. All right, so as you can see, this one actually sits lower than the other one, and it's not actually all the way down yet. So, because we just threw it on real quick for placement, you can see it'll actually sit almost an inch lower, which is nice because it'll lower the center of gravity, everything that's on it. It's got this nice little protective ring for the lights, so your lights sit back here. And they gave us a nice big open one because we want to run like period correct big lights through here. Added a bunch of different mount placements for, you know, whether or not we're running our Max Tracks or our Axe and stuff like that. And then on this side, instead of having this rack go all the way back, which is how our previous one is, it terminates quicker so that we can run our rooftop tent a lot lower. So that's the plan. It's funny, when I called them, I said, I have an idea for a rack, and I just had like a 3-second conversation with them, actually via DM, and they built exactly what we wanted. All right, so that's that for this episode. Next episode, should make this thing run. That's the plan. At least fire it and get all the plumbing done, all the little finishing touches, which will take a while. Set up a new fuel tank, different things like that.
Just why you made me turn off the torque stallion. I
Yeah,
was
man.
warming her up. You had to film this.
When you get into Overlanding now?
I'm just kidding.
When we
I'd like to.
bring you out camping.
I want to come. I want to. You know, they all go and hang out and do camp stuff, and I'm just sitting there. They don't call me because they know I don't have a capable vehicle. My tires are bald. I got nothing.
Have you ever bought brand new tires for the?
No, because I've been waiting for this moment to build it. It's time.
Are you going to announce that right now?
I don't need to, but I'm gonna build it.
Toast Stallion coming your way.
We are gonna build it.
Well, now that you're here, it's perfect time. You want to help me wrap this?
All right.
3, 2, 1. That's a wrap! Zero Mile Motors, old pieces of shit. That's my thing.